What is going on, guys? So in today's video we're going to be making this class right here and testing it out. So basically it is a fully automatic 1911 class and it works very well because I've experimented it. I got the handgun leveled up all the way up to level 60 and I even got gold camo, so I've used it a bit. I kinda have tested out some strats to see which one works the best for me, and I think I have it down to what I found to be the best fully automatic 1911 class. So if you want to see how this class is built and how it works, you know, stuff like that, its strong points, its weak points and all that, watch the video. And yeah, at the end we're going to go over all the attachments and stuff on it and possible alterations you can make in order to make the class better in general. Let's get into it. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the strengths of the fully auto 1911 class. So basically it has a very high fire rate, as you can see from right there, and it has a high enough fire rate and enough ammo to where you can get some multi-kills, so that's very good. And it works pretty well in these close quarter maps like Shipment and DOS House, so that's where this class really is like strong and works very well. So like right there, you know, like that was just right behind him, it only takes a few shots to do it. It works very well on these close quarter maps again. Okay, and as you can see right here, it takes barely any shots to do it, and plus we didn't have to reload, and then we got that kill right there. So with the magazine attachment we have, it's easy enough to get multiple kills back to back and not really have to reload. Sometimes you do, but when you do, it doesn't take too long to reload. But yeah, you know, you can manage to get a decent number of kills, and then by the time you reload, you can keep going and do pretty good, like right there, because you can get quite a few multi-kills. The class is very good at that. And then like in this clip here, if you get in behind the enemy, you can make quick work of it and get a lot of kills really quickly if you like get in behind them well enough to where they don't realize you're there. So yeah. And then, you know, even right there where he's sliding in, we can still get that kill. You know, when you're really close, we can sometimes get the jump on them with this pistol class. That right there is one of the main things, the reload time, but most of the time it's fine. Okay, so right there we managed to get 30 kills, and we also got play of the game with just this pistol class. We had a 7.5 elimination to death ratio, which is pretty good. So yeah, that came out as 30 kills, 4 deaths. So that's very good considering we were just basically using the pistol. So yeah, right here's another match on Shipment, and just showing you a bit more clips of kind of how it works. So yeah, like point blank, you can do pretty good. Right there we got a throwing knife kill. That's all I like to run, throwing knives in my class. But I mean, thermite, Simtexes, those will probably work about the same way. You can just get in behind the enemies and kind of clear them out. It's at distance, it isn't the best gun, but if you're in close range, close to medium, most of the time you'll be fine. At a distance, it's not ideal, but it'll work for your close range encounters that you come across most of the time. So yeah. Right there we managed to get a triple kill, and yeah, it keeps on going for a bit, and I think we get all the way up to the guard dogs. Yeah, so right there, see, so you can fill up that whole kill streak bar pretty easily. And then right here, you can just kind of slide in. That's the way this class really works. You need to try to play at high mobility and just try to get in behind people and try to rush them before they have a chance to get at you, because that's where this class really shines, I think. So yeah. Right here you can see it at range. It's not the best, it missed most of the shots, but right here up close basically got a double kill really quickly. And then right there got 2 kills. So the reload, like the magazine size is good because you have enough shots to get, you know, at least 2 or 3 kills back to back, no problem really, which is very helpful, especially when it comes to this pistol class. And then right there again, I think we threw the throwing knife. That's why I like running it. It's really fun to get kills with that stuff. So yeah, I just like running the throwing knife in this type of class. And yeah, it's just a few more highlights of like how you can play this class. Again, it's like sliding around, high mobility, stuff like that. And then see right there, you can kind of go out of bounds, loop around, get them. It's just basically try to sneak up behind the enemies or just rush them so quickly that they can't really know what's going on, and just try to get a few kills that way. And then right there we got a kill, I think, after we died, which is because of the incendiary rounds we have. I like running incendiary on stuff like this, so that's very helpful. Right there's a bit at range and it does okay. Now right here it's kind of campy, but you can manage to get some kills that way. So yeah, like I said, this class can get the jump on people pretty well because the fire rate, it's pretty good. Okay, so that's the strengths about this class. You got a high fire rate, and you can play it really quickly with the high mobility it has. Now we're going to talk about the weaknesses of this 1911 class, and there's a few weaknesses. Primarily, range. It's not that great at a distance. You also have the reload time, so the reload time can take quite a bit, and you most of the time end up dying while doing that. A way to possibly negate that is firing one and then the other. So now I'm testing a few ideas I had about this class just to show you. So right there's the 18 round mags, that's what we run most of the time, but then there's this other magazine that runs 8 rounds, but it's a larger caliber, so it has more damage but a lower fire rate. And then I also have that scope primarily because it looks cool, but this one has better stats, so it's honestly probably better to run with. I just like the other one. So right here we're testing the pistol class as the larger magazines, and the scope I have on it that has worse stats, the one I picked because it looks cooler. So yeah, we're just testing it out, seeing what it looks like, you know, like the spread and the fire rate, and then, you know, just that type of stuff. And then right here is the exact same thing, except the magazines are switched out with a higher round magazine. So as you can tell, it looks like the recoil is a little less, but the amount of time you can actually fire is much lower, so that might cancel out when you're playing matches. And then right here we're switching the sight, and now it's going to be the same thing, only difference is the sight. So we switched it out to that one, and we have the 30 round mag, so we're just doing the same thing. It seems to be a bit more accurate, so I would probably suggest using that scope if you're going to use one. And then right here, it's the lower round magazine, you know, with the same sight as that last one though, just to compare. So yeah, so to put it in reference, right there's an STG, so it's really accurate at that distance, or at least comparatively. And then right here's the pistols, so it's not good at range compared to like an assault rifle or something like that, which shows that you have to get in behind the enemies and get kills that way. So basically with this type of class, you have to be kind of close range to where most of those can hit, because at that distance you're not going to be hitting anybody if you just fire full auto for the most part, especially since it's hip fire only. Now if you run it where you can aim down sights but you would lose akimbo, it may be fine. So right here I believe we switched out to the lower magazine with the higher damage rate, and as you can tell it can get quite a few kills, but you can't really get multi-kills because you run out of the ammo most of the time. Sometimes it could take, you know, only 1 or 2 shots to get the kill, but by that point you've wasted most of the ammo because the fire rate's so high. But yeah, so you have to reload a whole lot more, and there's a lot less ammo with you at that time, so that's one thing to consider. But yeah, another thing to consider is the amount of ammo. So that's 18 round mags, and you're running akimbo, so you have 36. This one's 8 round, so you're running akimbo, so that's only 16. I think the larger magazine size makes more sense because you have a whole lot more ammo to try to get multi-kills, and I think you reload less time in general, but feel free to experiment with that yourself and see which one you prefer. Okay guys, so you saw the part where we went over the strengths, the weaknesses, and, you know, some possible things you can do to maybe fix the class and just testing it in general. So yeah, our primary, we're just running a combat shield, but realistically, you could switch this out for any gun you'd like. I just run combat shield because I play DOS House and Shipment all the time, and I primarily just try to use this because, I mean, I like using it quite a bit. But if you pair that pistol, you know, with an AR or something that can have somewhat of a distance, you get a very well suited class most likely, as long as you're not on a map where people are constantly behind you and just kind of spawning in. If you're like on a medium longer range map, you're probably good, because like if you pair it with one of these, or, you know, maybe even a marksman rifle, you could be set, because this has you covered close range, and then get something that covers you medium to long, you'd be good to go. Have a pretty solid class, honestly. So yeah, we're going to get into the 1911 and just look at the attachments here and possible things you might do to switch it out. So we run the silencer, we run that one right there. I just run it because it's kind of cool. It does lower the ADS, but I mean, we're not ADS anyway because we're using akimbo, so it's just hip fire. And it's sound suppression and accuracy. I like that it's suppressed, so yeah, you can switch that out to maybe something you would prefer though, but I think it works pretty well. Right here we run steady trigger because I like the stability now, and the recoil control. The recoil control I like a lot. This one here also offers that, but it's not at a loss of fire rate, so you may prefer that. Like I said, just probably experiment with these and see what you prefer. This is like a good slate to kind of start off with, right? So right here you have to have this barrel to make it full auto, because that is the full auto barrel. So yeah, right here I think I covered this part a bit, but I prefer the larger magazines because you just have more ammo in general. So it's 18 rounds and you're running akimbo, right? So you have 36 rounds you can shoot before you have to reload both of them. Now this one, it does have higher damage, and yeah, but it does lower the fire rate, but it only has 8 rounds. So you only have like 16 total before you have to reload both of them. So it's kind of a trade-off. I just prefer this one. It gives me more room to get multi-kills and stuff like that. So yeah, I just prefer that. But like I said, experiment with which ones you prefer here. But that's the one I prefer. I like to run Incendiary. I recommend you run Incendiary too, because once you damage them, you can get kills after. So it almost guarantees you a kill, or gets you pretty close to it. Because, I mean, if they run up on you but you're in close range, most of the time you'll get the kill. But even if you don't, if you hit them enough with the Incendiary, you will get the kill after. So it's pretty good. I like running that. So for the grip, we run the Pine Tar grip. Mostly because it helps with recoil control and hip fire. It does lower ADS, but we aren't really ADS, as I mentioned before, so it works pretty well. But you can probably experiment with all this. But I wouldn't do anything that like increases ADS is like the main thing, because you're not really going to use it if you are running akimbo like we are right here. So we run akimbo. I just like having it that way. It just seems faster, and you don't aim. I mean, it's just hip fire, but it works very well. For the kit, we run fully loaded because it helps the maximum starting ammo. You could probably run quick if you want to, but I would probably think you should run fully loaded to just maximize the amount of ammo you have. So yeah. And then right here for the optic, this is something that honestly I don't really think matters that much. So I had this one on at the beginning of the video just because it looks cooler, because that just looks a whole lot cooler to me than this one. I picked the wrong one. Did I? Yeah, there we go. See, so this one I think looks a little weirder than this one, but honestly, this one is probably better because it has a +2 recoil control and +2 accuracy, right? And this one's a +1 recoil control and a +1 accuracy. So even if that accuracy doesn't total into it since you're hip firing and all that, this has more recoil control. So it's going to get you a tighter grouping and probably better overall. So I would just run with that, but you can probably run whichever one, because this you unlock pretty early, right? These right here, these do the same difference as the ones at the bottom, because that lowers ADS by 2, but you're not ADS. Now this does have optic glint, and I don't think these mention that, so that might be a thing to kind of be wary about. But yeah, I just like running these two because primarily this one because it looks the coolest, I think. But like I said, just pick whichever one you prefer there. And yeah, I mean, that's the class in a nutshell, at least for the attachments for the pistol. So now we'll go into the perks. So I run Serpentine because it's a running class, so I find that helpful because it reduces the damage that comes in while you're running. And then you have Radar because I like to use my mini-map, so I find that pretty helpful. Tracker would probably also be good. We run Double Time because I use Tactical Sprint, and then sometimes I crouch and move around and stuff like that too. Lightweight would probably be good because it just increases movement speed in general. Scavenger would be good if you run out of ammo a lot, but most of the time I die before I run out of ammo completely. So yeah, I would just run something that increases your movement speed since it's kind of a run and gun class. For the lethal, I personally like Throwing Knives and Thermites, but you can use whichever one you prefer. I like the Throwing Knife over Thermite right now because you can pick up the Throwing Knives and reuse them, so that might be something to consider. But yeah, I'd say just use whichever one you prefer out of those. I'd keep that in mind. And then for the tactical here, I just run Stun Grenades in all my classes because, I don't know, I just prefer them. But Stim would probably be good, and Smoke Grenade might be interesting because you could probably throw that in a group of people and maybe run around, get in behind them, and get some kills that way. So I would say just experiment with what you prefer here, but my kind of go-to in most of my classes is the Stun Grenade or maybe the Stim. So yeah, that's kind of how my classes are set up. So yeah, I think this is one of the best 1911 classes, or at least the best one that I've even used. So yeah, I would try to make this if you have it. Like I said, it does use some of the higher weapon level attachments, so like that's the last barrel you unlock. That's, you know, that's towards the middle, that's reachable, but akimbo is like the very last one you unlock. So if your weapon level isn't that high, I think I have another class video where I go over a semi-automatic 1911, this one here, that uses some of the earlier attachments except for that one. But yeah, I think that could help you get that weapon level up to where you can make this beast of a class right here. So I'll link that, right here, with the little card thing that slides over when you click on it. So yeah, watch that if you want after this video. And yeah, I think this class works really well, and hopefully you can get some use out of it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, guys. And thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.